I just finished watching Somewhere in Time. We got to talk. Hey guys, welcome back to the Bargain Collector. I'm Justin Ramon Thinney. Come on in, kick your feet up, hit the like, and definitely hit the subscribe. On one of my recent library hunts, I came across a film that I had been actively seeking out for some time. I had seen a YouTube short where it showed Christopher Reeve and this old lady coming up to him, handing him a watch and saying, "Come back to me." And he somehow ends up in the past and he finds her as a younger woman played by Jane Seymour. It looked like a really cool idea for a film. I had been looking for it everywhere, couldn't really find the name of it, and I just happened to be in one of my local libraries, thumbing through a bunch of movies, and boom, I came across it. The reason why I said we got to talk about this, it's because when I started this channel, I'm a filmmaker first, and I am a person who likes to talk about film second, or actually, no, I wouldn't even say that. I probably love talking about film just as much as I love making films, but I digress. The point is that when I look at a film, I can take a look at the film as it is, right? And then I start breaking it down and discovering the level of difficulty that it took to accomplish something. And as a person who shoots films myself, I know how terribly difficult it is to get a film made. I know how terribly difficult it is to get what you want. And then I know how terribly difficult it is to understand how sometimes getting what you want might also not be what your audience expects or wants. What I'm saying is that it takes a lot to make a really good film and a really good engaging film. It's really difficult. And so for that reason, it's very tough for me to really go after somebody's work of art. It's really tough. And unfortunately, man, this movie was tough. I don't even know. A lot of the times I can go back and say, well, at least I get what they were going for, but I don't. Sometimes I say I get the themes here that are developing, and I don't. I get the motif. I don't. I get the plot. I don't. I get the story. I don't. I kept looking at this film going, I don't know what this is, and I don't even know who it's for. I really don't, and I feel bad because so many people revere this film, and I just I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I said, we got to talk. So let's get into this. One of my biggest criticisms was that everyone in this film was very actory. I don't have a better word for it, but everything was so actory. It was to watch people turn, and every time somebody has to say something that they've been thinking, they have to do some dramatic movement to convey. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, why is that? Why did the director ask for it? Because it seems like everybody did that across the board. Even Christopher Reeve, who I think is a great actor. I have no idea what he was doing. I have no idea. As a matter of fact, there is, if you haven't seen it, there's the scene where he makes it back in time, which we're going to get to that time travel stuff because that was so whole other thing. We get when he gets back in time and he sees her on the beach. There are some trees that are blocking his view, but you can see her beyond the trees. And he decides, oh my gosh, there she is. And he starts walking over to her. And I'm not exaggerating. This is the most actory. If you saw this in the real world, let me tell you what he did. He's walking over to her, and this is not an exaggeration. As he's walking over to her, she doesn't see him, but he sees her. And he's like, and I mean, he's closing in on her like this. She turns around and sees him. And she's just kind of like, what? And he's just, and she begins to, I guess, fall in love with him in the moments that it's taking him to close in on her, because as he gets there, she asks him, is that you? And he says, yeah. And first, I mean, I have a question about that. How do you know who he is, considering you've actually never met? I mean, I know the future her, when she's old, met him, but this version of her is meeting him for the first time. So how would there be the question of who are you, him? Threw me way off. And she was already smitten with him on his very stalkery, borderline serial killer-esque approach. Okay. Like, the film hasn't earned these moments. As a filmmaker, I know that you learn the rules of filmmaking and then you break them, but you learned them first and then you broke them. And you broke them because it served the story to break the rules. And I guess overall, that's really my problem with the film, is it wants you to believe it's a love story more than it wants to show you it's a love story. That's really my biggest problem. Everything in the movie, nothing was earned because they were so busy trying to convince you of what it is rather than just let it be that. This woman coming to him saying, come back to me, based on what? Because come to find out, the old lady lived in his same neighborhood. And then you find out that some other woman was taking care of her this whole time. So it wasn't like she lived in another country and then she just found him and brought him the. If she's been alive all this time, she knows a very frustrating movie. And as I mentioned, it's a time travel movie. There is not a DeLorean involved. Oh, there's no plutonium, no gigawatts. There's no clock tower. there's there's no magic chair with a lever and you pull it and the volts hit you and you go back. There's none of that. There's no portal that opens up that he steps through. Essentially, he goes to see a guy who says time travel is possible. So he goes to this guy who, by the way, was his teacher, and he never even knew that this teacher had a theory about time travel. How? If you took classes in college from a professor who was famous for talking about time travel, I think that's something you would know. I think it's something you would talk about, but apparently not. Apparently, he never knew. He went back to talk to the teacher, and the teacher tells him, and I'm not joking, hey man, you're gonna have to walk with me. I gotta go make this meeting, and I only got a couple minutes, so we gotta walk and talk on the way. And Christopher Reeve says, hey man, I know that you know a bit about time travel. Is it really possible? And the guy stops what he's doing and ushers them into this small room. and explains the intricacies of time travel in about 45 seconds. Do you know what materials he needs to time travel? I mean, surely they've got to be things that are very difficult to get. I mean, the government would have to keep that stuff on lockdown because I mean, you'd be able to time travel and that could cause all kinds of problems. So what are the things that he needs to time travel? Nothing. Nothing. Just he needs to think really hard about where he wants to go. Yep. Just think, 1973. And I'm there. That's it. So he just thinks 1912 and then he ends up in 1912. And all he has to do is make sure that he didn't take anything with him that he could look at that would remind him of where he's from. I mean, cuz he would never think about his plays, he would never think about, "Oh man, I bet you my uncle Robbie would really dig this thing. My mom, I know she likes this." None of that. He didn't have a single thought about anything from his actual timeline the entire time he was there. I find that very difficult to believe that even if you found her as her younger self, you would think, "Oh man, that old lady was hot when she was younger." And you would come right back. The direction was just so odd. I don't want to call it bad because I don't want to say it's bad. I don't want to say that it was horrible, but it was tough, man. Watching this movie was like trying to chew a steak that has been overcooked for like an hour. It was like chewing leather, man. I was like, damn. I don't know what else to say, man. It was so heartbreaking because I was so happy to see this movie and I really wanted to love it. And I got it and I was just so let down on top of everything else. It was a tale of two movies. It was before the time travel and after the time travel. Before the time travel, it was a drama and a mystery, with him trying to figure out all the stuff and what he's going to do with his life and who is this lady and all that stuff. It wasn't good, but I don't even want to say it was interesting. It just was. Okay. It just was. It was a drama and a mystery. And I'll leave it at that. And then after the time travel, Christopher Reeve gets switched out with Clark Kent. Now he's Clark Kent, right? Now he's and making jokes and now it's a comedy. It's a comedy trying to be a love story, trying to be sentimental and poignant, and being none of those things. None of them. So, with the back half of the film being a comedy, and I said it wasn't funny, I will say it had an unintentionally funny part. And I laughed 3 times, a total of 3 times, all three for the same reason. Jane Seymour would say something very, very, her delivery, she did the best she could, right? So she delivers the line, and then there's this pause, this pregnant pause, where Christopher Reeve, I guess, is trying to emote. And I fully expected her to lean in and go, "Come here, kitty cat." And so because of that, I laughed. I laughed so hard. And then I had to catch myself and go, okay, I'm just being silly now. And then there was another time that she said something, and all I could think was, "Call me kitty cat." That's all I could think because if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because she was also in Wedding Crashers. And so that's like a very funny part of the movie when she's flirting and she's like, "Call me kitty cat." But that's literally why I laughed 3 times. It had nothing to do with the actual movie itself. I laughed because I thought of something else. I really wanted to like this. And you know what? And they have a 4K coming, a 4K release of this. Hey, man, I, I don't know what to say about this. Oh man, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I paid I paid $1 for this, and $1 was too much. I'm not even joking. I'm not even that's not even a joke. So let's make this super quick. Uh Shelf appeal, nothing. Uh Entertainment value, not even a little bit. Uh and I definitely would not rewatch it. So that's my thoughts on Somewhere in Time. I cannot wait to watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I am really hoping that one is so much better. So I will be watching that one, and I will get back to you after I have and let you know what I think. But in the meantime, keep finding good films. And when I say good films, I'm not talking about this, but keep finding good films at great prices.